Alright, let's begin. Um, when last we met, was that 3 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago, probably.
3 weeks.
3 weeks ago. We had just come back from your excursion at the quadrant with the forest, where it was discovered that some professor, doctor, scientist like was making evil experiments concerning the dark shard that you discovered, and you suspected that this might be the cause of the upheaval in general. You went back. You were granted an audience with the king, and through what was explained to the king was that he gave you leeway to basically discover on your own um, what transpired here, headed by the High Elf Ferundil, which was brought over from the Academy of Telenor to discover what's happened. Now, the king, in your behalf, waived all of the costs for the writ of exploration, seeing as how your group is the only who was able to successfully retrieve information and come back alive. Okay? And the king, by the way, the king is like a young king. Not really a king, probably late
Prince.
20s or 30s.
Okay.
That's old enough to be a king.
What? That's a king? I didn't vote for him.
No voting for kings in general. Succession would indicate that if this is a young king, he was probably the only one alive after the upheaval. We did not elaborate as to why he's currently the king. No one questioned. Everything is focused on the exploration. Based on the information that you gave him, it became prudent that he will try to negotiate with the border kingdoms
And
around the entry, which would include Telenor, about the situation right now, as he wanted to negotiate the other kingdoms bordering it in order to prevent any sort of mass invasion, as it has been definitively determined that the upheaval is not some sort of devastation on the land, but in fact
Man-made.
as a sort of a man-made teleportation incident, as it was discovered that the forest, as confirmed by your halfling friend Merla, was in fact teleported. You can only assume that, based also on the activities inside while you were exploring the said summer home where you were into, that there's some sort of transportive teleportation properties involved with the shard, in addition to the necromantic thing. The king takes leave from you in order to negotiate with the border kingdoms, allow you leeway to do so, but before you could pick or basically determine what you should be doing next, a large contingent of mercenaries,
what were they called?
which you were determined as the Efferton elite,
African.
highly paid, highly skilled mercenaries, offered the king, in the event of basically locking out the third glacial quadrant, has managed to pay the king 4 times the recovered rate, down payment down, and the rest to follow whenever. So that would limit your options, as the king is adamant that he requires this money in order to feed or keep alive his starving, land devastated kingdom.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so, upon further instruction as well, you negotiate as well. You have to secure the dark shard and keep everything in secret. So, with the permission of the king and with Grodin, who has the initial writ of prospecting, the dwarf has agreed to basically have the rights to farm it or mine it or gather it, but is willing to hold on and not sell it at the open market until after such time that Telenor has determined what the case may be. So this is a situation where the dwarf agreed. This could be the next Bitcoin, just stacking it until such time that it can be released into the open market, and so on and so forth. And with that, you were left with 2 options, and it was implied that the decision will make you go to the second quadrant, which is the swamplands.
The bottom.
The king could not provide you with any additional support Although it is adamant that the additional support would actually be helpful to your group as you're the only competent group elsewhere. But he has sent all of his house guards um, east to the lands from the forest, as it was determined as well in your previous match that at a certain point the forest quadrant ended and it turns back to be the original Dustlands. And so the king, with a concern that he might still be able to find survivors of his peasantry or his subjects, has sent that house guard there. We don't know what's happening there. So you set out for the second quadrant, the swamp quadrant. A whole lot of you were able to acquire more help as per needed, as per your first experience in the forest lands. And on the local tavern in the Ugly Gang, you were able to acquire the services of Leandro, dark, wearing shadow dwarf. Not dwarf, why am I saying dwarf? A human ranger, which can buttress the exploration needs required, and more importantly, a cleric, Regina Goldberg, which very incidentally also happened to be traveling into the Dustlands together with Leandro. So you made all the arrangements, you went through to the Dustlands swamp quadrant. The same routine happens. Devastated lands, arcane residue, and following to the what you would probably expect. It gets closer, so you have a general direction as to where to go. You were able to rescue a lone fisherman from an attack on the bear. A couple of bears while he was fishing. But it turns out that the bears actually were not regular, as much as anything that can be regular as bears could live in the swamp. After you dispatched them and rescued the fisherman, it turns out that those bears are polar bears, which you had assumed were migrated or lost from the teleported. But as you're taking a look at the bears in their current state, they were emaciated already, so they might have been dislodged from their local habitat, and you would determine that they would probably came from the glacial quadrant and just lost their way there. Similarly to the same way that previously when you were exploring the forest quadrant, you managed to find a bunch of lizard people, which, as Merla the halfling, based on his or based on her situation, would say that there has never been halflings, lizard men in those areas. You press on. You determine that the
Everybody moving counterclockwise. Yeah.
So it seems at this point, after dispatching the bears, polar bears, muddied polar bears, you found out that the fisherman was no ordinary fisherman, but was in fact the old captain of the guard during your first prospecting, which had betrayed you, and he's informed you that he was only able to eke out a foraging, meager existence. After you set him free the first time around, no one would hire him because of the negative publicity, so on and so forth. And he invited you to rest a little bit in the small shack further along, where he says that you would like to meet, or he would like for you to meet his young daughter. You went to the whole shack with a small farm on a swamp area clearing, basically out of the way. The young, blonde, bubbly daughter offered you pie, which some partook, and it was immediately found out that this was an ambush in the area, and
Yeah, pie suck.
the pie sucked. I actually didn't resolve the poison there. It doesn't matter. It was determined that the young child was in fact a bog hag, which tried to feast on your souls. And it also appeared that the bog hag was exerting control over her death. You dispatched them. The bandit, well, the captain of the guard,
Former captain of the guard.
former captain of the guard, you dispatch him. However, you were not able to dispatch the bog hag, and she threatened vengeance upon you by calling upon the sisters in her coven, and one day a reckoning will arrive. As such, you have already rested, And what do you guys do?
I was still tinkering with the Ab's eye,
Mm-hmm.
trying to determine its functions and how can I use this to locate or possibly make this as a tool against the hag.
Okay. The hag eye is just bulbously looking at you. It's really unnerving, unnatural dark magics. And as you open the
Poke
locket,
eye.
you poke the eye, and it behaves as
I should.
I removed the eye when you poke it. It's shedding a little bit of tears, like green mucus, a little bit. And you determine nothing more than hedge wizardry, nothing on your studies. But definitely there's a dark undertone, a dark curse. Hedge magic.
Do I currently sense the malevolence of the great sword?
Yeah, because you've already attuned to it, and it's definitely a cursed sword. You would presume that the hag bequeathed that sword to Des in order to help slay victims for further consumption.
So it's like if this thing is a bit of a sentient, I try to exert my will on it.
Okay, make
It's a DC 15 will save or a DC 15 wisdom something.
yeah. I try to do that to determine the kuan. Determine something.
Oh, that's a 10.
That's a 10. So you determine that the sword, after a while, you hear voices emanating from it, an influence exerting in your brain, but you would determine that it's a non-sentient sword. It just fills you with a certain rage as you strike down upon it.
Yeah, okay.
What does it do again?
Well, it's the sword of vengeance. It's a +1 great sword for now.
Right.
You have disadvantage on attack rolls made by all other weapons. When you take damage, you make a DC 15 will save, or you must attack the creature that damage you until you drop to 0 HP. The target dies, or you cannot reach the creature in melee range.
It's cursed.
Yeah.
So as you try to exert your will from it, you determine that, and there's nothing to push back against your will. It's just an overwhelming internal desire. Just makes you feel pissy, basically.
Okay. I will master this great sword.
All right. Anyone else doing anything?
Also, somebody researched a spell called Remove Curse.
Regina says,
Larry.
I have not the expertise to do it. I must pray. I am not bequeathed by my divine patron to be able to handle this. This is beyond me.
Regina.
I know Chewie. I mean Regina.
What do you do? It's now, let's say you full rested.
For
Oh, full rested. Alright.
The hag's eye. It doesn't have any uses.
It depends on what you want to use it for. But as far as you know, it is just a sentry tool.
I know.
Okay.
But
See if you can.
what I was thinking about is that I want to send false information because most likely this eye is watching us.
Mm.
Like what I can do is have it like send false information to think.
Make an Arcana check. And by the way, you're all full healed and on all of that.
15.
15. Based on your studies as well with regard to magic, and you try to apply all of your scholarly things, you determine that the curse is, or the enchantment there is non-academic. So it's an innate magic of some kind. But you know that it actually cannot hear anything. It seems to function as an eye. When you open the locket, it sort of flickers, blinks a little bit to adjust to the eye, to the light source. It can see, as far as you know, it can perceive whatever it sees on the locket, but it does not. You don't think that it's able to transmit any language or can hear anything.
Just see.
It has. It's more like the properties of a scrying device of some kind.
Wait, can it go both ways?
No. Okay. Go both ways? Is it one way or just two ways?
You look at the eye. It's 1 minute, 5 minutes, and you realize that you're just gonna lose the stare down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this eye is useless. I'd rather destroy this because it's watching over us.
Give it here.
Can I eat it? Can I eat it?
I toss it to the
You toss
Then
that
I
eye.
attack the eye with the sword.
Nah, he's gonna eat it.
You send the eye to him. As you toss the eye with the locket, um, you would imagine that the eye is like shocked or surprised that it's being tossed, like bulges a little bit, and you catch it in your hand. As Leandro is attempting to swing it,
The imp is trying to catch it in his mouth.
sorry.
The imp is trying to catch it.
Okay, so the imp catches it because it's eye. You would notice that the imp has an overwhelming urge to consume it. Do you allow it to happen?
Yeah, you can eat it.
You can eat it. No one's gonna stop him.
Before the imp catches the eye, let's try to slice it.
You try to slice it. How's that gonna work? You make
Make an attack roll. Attack the eye.
are you gonna try to prevent it from happening, or are you just nonchalantly not
Yeah, it's a
care?
spur of the moment.
Okay, make an attack roll.
I have advantage on the first attack. Wow,
Wow.
that is 9 plus 6, 15.
9 plus 6, 16. So as you're tossing it, before the imp catches it, you slice it cleanly in half. It bursts into a puddle of mucus, and you're able to hear, not really hear, but some sort of a psychic scream of some kind. And you would determine that someone somewhere is in a whole lot of pain.
Good.
The eye is split cleanly in half, and it's just a bundle of mess right now. You can no longer detect any sort of...
Spike is cursing you.
Spike is cursing you. He's like, "Wow, why'd you do that?" But he still manages
Spike,
to...
you can still eat it.
And Spike could... But it's an imp, so he's just gonna eat it. It's not the worst thing he's ever eaten in the 9 hells. And this is pretty... It's delectable. It's an eye. Protein. It's pretty good.
Yeah, with a smear of vengeance.
But you definitely feel an undertone of dread
It's like
as
extreme.
you know that you've done the right thing probably, but it doesn't feel good. And whatever you might think that might happen, it's definitely if the hag
Pissed off. Yeah, at me.
is just probably contemplating just letting you guys go, it's probably on a warpath to you right now.
So we need to move.
The day is rising. What do you do?
Rest. Wait.
You've already rested. You're full rested right now. Let's say that it happened at night, and then you're making a full rest.
Oh yeah.
Nothing happened. It's a bright new day.
I'm just gonna change one of my one.
Right? Reset your spells.
I'm just gonna I'm just instead of putting
The sun is shining as much as the sun can shine in the glades
Thunder Wave,
in this area.
I'm gonna put alarm now.
There's still actually within.
I'm gonna put alarm.
There is still a half-eaten pie and some various dried snakes and fish.
I shall get the half-eaten pie and breadsticks.
You do realize what's those?
You have a half-eaten pie and you have dried fish, jerky-ish snake worth about 2 rations. You can put it in your inventory.
Actually, I still have the other slice of pie that I did not eat, so I have 1.5.
You have 1/2 and 1 slice of
Do
poison
I find
pie,
anything magical inside the hag's abode?
other than the hag's eye and the aforementioned cursed black sword.
The cursor was with.
Wait, that's it. That was. That
Yeah,
was
he
the
took the sword.
only thing that I detected with detect magic.
Yes.
Okay.
Like journals, notes, whatnot.
Journal, no, nothing of that kind. It's just pots and pans. You would even notice that the pots and pans are just for show. Nothing's really been cooked there. So, if anything, this is like
For sure.
a scam for them in order to lure in fresh meat, so to
So
speak.
there's no written materials like a journal.
Nothing written.
All right.
I will order Grumbles, Scribbles, and Fairchild to clean this house and make it presentable, so we can use this as a base.
Yeah.
Okay. Grumbles and scribbles as
And I will also order the other halfling to do the same.
the other halfling.
Yes.
Merla?
Yes. Merla, you help them.
Merla just glares at you then, and
Sweep the floor.
he makes the makes Camel heal at you. No! And then the girl growls for you. And then Spike goes.
Careful.
But otherwise, Merla is non-compliant in cleaning this up.
Hey, machine.
In any case, there's nothing much to clean here. It's just really just a gigantic shack. Maybe you straighten the barrel where the ooze came out of,
Ooze came out.
and
Wait,
maybe
who's?
It's
It's the
dead.
barrel, right?
yep.
He's dead now.
Yeah, there were barrels of ooze in it.
No,
No,
Des kicked the barrel
contained-
down, and it contained the ooze, and you've dispatched it.
Yeah, we killed him.
Anything of value, the scarecrow that came in as well, it's just a not even magical, some sort of construct.
Didn't even have a brain.
Yeah, it's and a heart. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm messing up my
Wait a minute.
other side.
Since
And
Moose and Iron Fist is not here, if
no, for this purpose, they're still there.
Yeah.
You're still together at this point.
They're here
No, I mean-
in the house.
is it possible for me to transfer the Sword of Vengeance to Moose and get Iron Fist's sort of?
Okay. As you try to, in your mind, make a deal. Hey, would you like this sword? There's
It's not. Hey, would you like this sword? It's like, what can you feel about this sword?
as you're saying, what can you feel about this sword? Why am I doing this? No, this sword is mine.
Ah,
I
it
can't
has
even.
that kind of approach.
No. Why would I even consider that? No, this is my sword. This is for no one else.
It's a blood sword.
Your
This sword,
It's a
that sword is nothing on this sword. This sword is so precious, so delicious.
It's a blood sword.
No, it's not a blood sword. It's a
No,
sword of vengeance.
that's not a third blood.
Oh, the
One
blood.
of
Yeah, but
Jinjin's-
which one of the guns? Which one of the reverse virtues?
other versions, yeah. But I
Remember
think
that-
all of them are like that. Has a personality that you don't want anyone getting this sword.
No, one blood sword is
But it's precious.
one blood sword will tempt your opponents to actually slay the wielder.
Regina would tie break you and say, "No, this is a curse. This is your curse to bear. But I will help you and find a way to defeat it."
Somebody get remove curse. It's also a wizard spell.
I don't have that.
Regina says, "No, I just need diamonds and healing kits. I have nothing to do with curses. My job is to keep you guys alive, not really with your well-being."
What an ass.
True. Except that said well-being could also be dependent on the sword. Considering my well-being.
Well, considering what are options and where we should go.
By the way, where are we going exactly aside from this one? I mean, do we have a location that we're supposed to go to?
Yeah,
We're supposed to explore.
explore. Yes. So we just need to get. I consult the map. Is there like a map? You would bring a map.
We're supposed to make
the
the
rock?
Okay.
What's the
Fenwick says, well, that's actually the point of the writ of exploration. My job is to map this out. The problem is I can't use the old maps we have because it's no longer the case.
Yeah.
And any maps that Scribble just edited out, no one came back alive. So,
So basically, I know that the monks keeping track of the map. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go to the unexplored areas. So
Correct.
We wanna know where we are,
Mhm.
and we're just gonna pick a quadrant wherein we haven't explored.
correct. So, in any case, you can pick a quadrant outside of where the destination source would be if with regard to destination. You can choose to go around, but if you would notice, this is the exact same format with regard to how the forest would work. Like, the further in and the more devastated the land would be, you would presume that this is where the dark shard, which you assume would cause a translocation. So you may travel the quadrants in a general direction, which you would expect. If it's not getting worse, the devastation is not getting worse, and you're getting colder, as opposed to getting warmer.
Alright.
Here's my plan. I want to have Fiddle, Mr. Fiddle, fly out and scan, like a general scan of like a kilometer of the area.
Okay, what is
See if
the
there's any points of interest.
okay? What is the range of the telepathic links to find familiar?
1 second.
It should be 100 feet, right? I mean, we just wanted to be sure. Just like the find familiar spell, because there's like the telekinetic link on how far can you maintain the? Because I'm assuming you wanna use the familiar to see through.
No, basically
While
have
your
it,
familiar is
have
within
it
100
run-
feet of you, you can communicate with it telepathically.
So you're just gonna make him go on a scouting run.
Yeah, and then when it comes back, tells me what are the
Okay.
interests.
So how far do you command him to do so? Like half a day's worth? How many minutes
Just a
worth?
kilometer.
Oh, so you just wanted to get him to a general direction where it's getting worse.
Yeah.
Okay. Easy enough. As far as quadrants would go in, the behavior would be the same with regard to still cross the forested land. It wherever the path will take you, which is traversable or not, it seems to focus into getting worse in a certain area. So as your familiar, what's the name of your familiar? Fiddle comes back, he goes here, here, and we'll go here.
Okay.
So for this purpose, it's leading you generally to the direction where, as you described, things get worse. The swamp, you know.
We'll be able to cover more area if we split into two, like the four of us and the four of them.
It makes it. Yeah, I will agree.
Yes.
We haven't split the party yet.
Well,
And
what are we waiting for? Let's go.
Grumbles, Scribbles, and Fairchild, you guys stay here and make this camp really nice for us. So when we come back, we can meet here. We will have nice beds to sleep in.
Okay. So this is the group that you're. Yeah, this is the group you're going. Moose comes up. So
Makes sense because I don't want Moose in my party.
this is good. Moose goes. All right. I'm not. Based on what we've met so far, there are many dangers here. I'm gonna do my Dutch impression. There's many dangers here in this area. How long should we leave before we can do anything about this and before we come back?
In a fortnight.
Fortnite, that's 2 weeks.
Yes.
In 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
It should be more than enough time for the hags to track us down.
I thought maybe we'd go out for like 8 hours, come back home, come back
Like
to
a
the
day,
house. Yeah.
No, it's a day. No.
What are you, a spoiled child?
Well, kind of.
I see.
Fenwick interject and say, I'm not really too sure about splitting the party up for a long time. I mean,
Yeah, I know. A day is fine.
we got these new guys because I need further protection, you know? I mean, we got giants,
Yes,
mad scientists,
we
and
should
we got
come back
hags here.
every night, so that this lady can heal us and we can sleep in a nice bed. Our feet will rot if we sleep in the
No, it won't.
swamp.
No, it won't. You just don't know where to find it.
Well, I would recommend that we come back here. We do our exploration. We come back the next day,
Come back the next day. So we'll come back at
like 24 hours.
another 24 hours. So the next day we'll come back.
Judging by the distance of what I saw,
You were not able to see because there's only a range of 100 feet from the vision, but all you know is the bird is asking you to go this way.
I'll try having my owl fly up just 100 feet just to see an overview and make an estimation how long we'll travel.
Fog is still happening here, as I forgot to mention. It's still happening.
How?
It's happening. I can't.
The Fennec goes, fine. If you wanted to do this way, I will go with you. The monk, for some reason, is also scribbling. Then he can go with that group. He can map out the area based on where they go. I will map out there based on when we go. We come back the next day. We can compare notes, see where we need to go.
All right.
Is that fair?
That's fair.
Is that fair, sir?
Angry.
All right.
Hey, Chewie, I mean, Richard, looks like we're babysitting these guys.
Any objections? Fenwick says, any objections?
Seems done.
All right.
Proceed.
Okay. So you proceed. The owl takes you on a general southeast direction. So therefore, the other group goes in a general northeast direction, as everything is heading out to the east. So you take there, and you go, right? Everyone, are you trying to travel properly or like hiddenly?
No one. We can do stuff for shit. So
I
just properly.
I can still.
No,
I have a brand new ability no one has seen yet.
Oh. Okay.
Is it this scroll? Invisibility?
Yes. It is that.
I was already way ahead of you.
So, if need be, I can be sneaky.
Very well then.
But right now it's the middle of the day.
I think,
Nothing done.
I think will traveling stealthily slow us down in any way.
Yeah.
It will.
I say it's in the middle of the night, but it's still foggy. If you want to be stealthy because you wanna make sure that you're not gonna randomly bump into anything, it'll slow you down definitely.
I wanna see alarm can be.
It's nighttime now?
No, it's daytime,
It's daytime.
but it's still sort of foggy, so you can't actually see. Well, you could attempt to.
I can attempt a nature check.
I mean, you could kind of hide, right?
By
But
the way, before we leave
uh huh.
the shack, I'm gonna put an alarm in it, so that way if anyone's gonna
Good.
intrude on that area, it's gonna send me a alarm
Okay.
mentally.
A mental alarm, but no one's gonna be left behind, right?
Yeah.
But there are Grumbles, Scribbles, and Fairchild are there.
Oh yeah, they're gonna clean the place up.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're good.
So I'm gonna put an alarm there.
So will they know with the alarm?
No, basically anything
You'll know, but will they know? So that they can go hide.
I can make it audible.
Yeah.
Audible and mental.
So when the alarm happens, it's gonna. If someone enters the perimeter of the shack, it's gonna make an audible alarm, and it's gonna make a mental alarm for you as well.
Yes. So when that happens, Fairchild, Scribbles, and Grumbles,
Yeah.
you guys hide. Do not try to kill it yourself. You are weaklings. Hide.
Yes,
I can
master.
designate creatures that won't set up the alarm. So basically, them, us, and the party.
So
I
there.
don't pay you enough.
That's a good distinction. Okay. Cool.
I don't pay you enough to fight.
Okay. Yes, master. And then the three halflings quickly try to make burrow holes and try to put the barrel's top as a makeshift trapdoor just in case.
Okay. Then we'll proceed. But I don't know. I'll try to be stealthy with you guys, but I don't wanna waste time on this bottom.
Yes, let's just
Cover properly.
yeah, let's travel as fast as we can. If we attract things, then I will zap them.
Mark off alarm on your first level spells.
It's
It's a
slots, so it's,
Oh yeah. Slot.
Be a problem. Let's go.
Very well. And then Lord moves, and then we're off. And he leads his 4 people. The monk, him, Regina,
And Merla.
and Merla. You split the rangers because he's gonna be foraging a little bit. You split the rangers.
Ranger.
A paladin, me,
Cleric.
a bard, and who's the other one?
It's a magical part
And a
of
monk.
you don't cast spells.
All right.
Yeah, they've got no spellcasters, do they?
Yeah.
Actually, they're all spellcasters.
It's fine. All right. So you set off.
I know, except for the Iron Fist.
He's magical enough.
Yeah, magical.
He's magical enough on the 6th level.
You set off at a moderate pace. You're not huffing and puffing, but with you're sweating because it's a swamp area, so it's pretty difficult.
Can we rest yet?
What's the matter?
It's
This
1
is
hour
my
in.
home turf.
Not yet. It's been an hour.
What's the matter, rich boy? This is my
You don't
home
do the
turf.
owl scouting.
Yeah, I assume that's gonna be. It is gonna be the guide in the way.
Correct.
So
So once in a while, he's just gonna come in and whoo whoo, and then he goes.
Oh, well, he doesn't have to come in. Because I can just maintain a
Correct.
telepathic link
Right.
in 100 meters.
Okay.
So he's gonna go ahead
Mhm.
and just communicate to Mental.
Okay. So
Spike doesn't want to do that.
no, Spike stays on your
If
person.
you're gonna connect mentally, it's gonna be a hellish landscape.
Okay.
I can use stealth and go ahead.
But it's
I can move at a normal
associated
pace if I go stealth.
it urges the master to do evil things. So the unfamiliar will urge me to do evil all the time. And if I violate the services of the contract, he will leave.
Then you
Evil stuff.
then
How long? For how long?
I mean just in general, right?
He just suggests things in my ear. Tells me things to do, like murder each of you in your sleep and that kind of stuff. And I negotiate.
And you think to yourself that this is the correct group to be on because you're rid of that cloying white-haired cleric lady and that pompous paladin of vengeance. And
I'm with my kind here. Yeah.
as you would agree or not, well, this one looks close enough.
Devilish, yeah.
Devil may care, devilish, devil fire. Okay.
This guy.
Very
He's we're two of a kind. We're both noble. We know that we're above these lowlife.
I try not to comment and.
By the way, while they're bickering, I'm already scouting.
Okay.
I
So
just leave Bushin behind.
so
The owls are doing the scouting.
but he's also for he's trying to make a sentry perimeter.
No,
And-
is the cat in the house?
No, I just leave the cat there to watch you.
Yeah. The next time you take a look, Leandra is already gone. In its place, it's just a Pushin rubbing against your legs. This cat is pretty good. So it's 1 hour passes, 2 hours passes.
So, primeval awareness, do I sense any features around?
Okay. How many? How long?
1 mile of me.
Okay. You definitely sense as well. Yeah. You sense humanoids.
Wait, that's not in their direction, right?
Not in their direction. Well, you can sense much of areas. You presume that the humanoids on the side would be them, but there's also another set of humanoids as well in the general direction that you're going, which actually triangulates with where the owl is leading you to.
Okay. I stealthily approach that direction to see.
Does it determine distance?
For 1 minute per level of spell slot you spend, you can sense whether the following types of creatures are present within 1 mile of you.
Okay, so that
To 6 miles if in your favorite terrain, and I'm in my favorite terrain.
so it's definitely within 6 miles of you.
Alright.
Wait,
But
what specific did you detect?
no, it cannot detect the specific distance, but it just knows there's
No,
been
it
people
doesn't
here.
reveal the creature's location or number,
Yeah.
but it gives you a
It
general
just
direction.
It's just there. The general direction is
But you
there.
detected something?
It follows through,
Yeah, humanoids.
which is in the same direction as where you're currently going.
Okay, that's good.
Can I use
Uh-huh.
nature to roughly indicate how many there are? Whether one person, a small group, or a lot of them?
You can't, because there's no tracks.
Yeah, I would say no because if there's something to that function, the ranger would have already done that.
Besides, I'm going in for stealthily
Uh-huh.
to see what kind of humanoids are there. Maybe
Okay.
it's a war camp.
So
It's those hags.
after an hour passes, the second hour passes, and you already notice that you're going at the brisk pace. You're sort of skulking, but not really attempting to hide your presence or something. Just you're trying to be careful, cover your bases, and you would notice that based on your primeval awareness.
Favored terrain, I have advantage on stealth.
That's right. You would notice that it's not like a straight path or anything. There's some bushes and shrubs and mangroves right away. You're pretty much, as far as you can determine, you're already diverging a little bit from the original group. Okay, and then about 2 hours and 30 minutes later, the owl reports back something to you.
Oh. Okay. What did it report?
Wait, to him or to me?
Well,
To me.
to him.
What did it say?
Humanoids close by.
Humanoids.
In bird speak.
What I'm gonna do is I'm still within range. I'm gonna use an action to see what it says.
Okay. Between both of you, you're trying to look at what he sees and you're trying to talk at. Not only do you see humanoids, but you can actually hear voices of loud yelling, posturing of some kind. You would need to go human, and some unknown language you don't understand. Common and some unknown language that you're not able to identify.
And what kind
You
of
might need to go a little bit closer in order to
Cover
perceive
languages.
better.
I'm gonna tell them
I
that.
stealthily
I'm gonna
move
tell them
forward.
that.
Yes, I move at a normal pace.
Infernal.
All I
In
know
this
is
story.
common and infernal.
So it doesn't sound like halfling language.
No.
Doesn't sound like infernal.
No.
Then I don't know.
No. As you get closer, your bird is able to perceive it already. The yelling in common is there's less sources of voices from the human yelling, and the other voices which
Do they sound like fighting?
you would notice that they're about to, and from now your bird can understand language because you can hear from what they're hearing. So what you actually hear is that a human in a shrill voice, sort of scared, sort of boasting, back away from you, or I shall slay you with my great mighty sword, the life ender. Back, I say. And the other voices on the head is like just you would notice you don't understand language, but it's like battle, guttural, tribal
Is it
of some
orc?
sort. No, it's not.
Okay. So I stealthily move towards it.
Okay. Do you inform the other people of
Yeah,
what's
of course
happening?
I
What do you guys do?
Stealthily
Everyone make stealth checks for now.
I will.
Mage
I will
armor.
disappear.
Okay.
Mage armor first. Oh yeah, mage armor. Always on. And invisibility.
Mhm.
And
You're invisible. You're armored. You're armored.
And spike go invisible.
I'm in stealth.
Okay. Your stealth is 20. Yours is 15. Yours is.
Am I still?
Yep. Oh, no, you're invisible. You're
Yeah, I'm
fine.
invisible, but do you need for like sloshing through water? and
Well, let's
stuff?
say for now you don't need to because if one of you is gonna get caught, it's not gonna be you.
I will attempt to stop.
All right.
Two.
So you creep up along the morass of the swamp and you go a little bit. So you take a look at it. You see three, not humanoids, human.
Do I recognize these guys?
Make a perception check.
Wait a minute, my favorite anime is
See that?
Role-playing game?
my favorite anime are the humanoids. So I have the advantage on sense motive in determining what they are.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
So
Wild plus
I
two,
have
wild plus
19.
four.
Okay.
What do I get?
Result was it?
Can I actually? Can I do passive perception at 13?
Okay. To answer your question, there are three humans, and on the other side there's about five small. It's basically swamp lizard folk.
Swamp lizard folk.
Yep.
Alright.
And then as you come closer, you're able to see properly over the bush. He goes, the same voice. The humans, one is in the lead, wearing gleaming, burnished armor, golden, and he has like a full cape at the back, like a cape. The insignia you don't recognize. There's no insignia. It's just like the armor is like overly large for this guy. And the cape is like already sagging to the back. It's like filled with swamp. He's barely tripping on it.
It's that pompous guy in the court.
That's right.
Oh.
It's a pompous guy in court, and he's wielding some sort of thin rapier. And you would notice that the two other guys is just still armored, right? But not gold burnished. It's more functional, but it seems that they would be out of place here. They're having a hard time getting off the muck, so on and so forth. Not the terrain. Um, and the human is like he was the one speaking. And he was boasting about his sword. I shall end you with life bender. Life ender.
I send like Pushi. Like if they are here, I would send Pushi there in front of the lizard.
Okay.
And then
Can we see
meow and then go away.
here? I'll basically have my owl on my stick now.
Okay. You retrieve the owl to your stick. What do you guys do? You're still hidden. You're sending cat. So what else does everyone do?
I send Pushi in front of them, meow, then go away.
Okay.
You have a mission or
How does that follow those instructions? It's just a cat.
the rangers are known
It's a
as
special
affinity with these companions, so I don't. It's not,
As long as I treat it right with animal friendship, it's technically an animal companion for me.
As your cat is
Except that it's not a combat companion.
as your cat is splashing along, the leader says his shield. It's like basically threatening him, threatening the lizardman. Shoot! Life Ender will take you! And then promptly, before your cat can even get to that, he's got peppered by 3 arrows, and he falls dead. And then the cat comes in.
Wait. He pulls that. Oh wait, can I have a reaction to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
That is helpful.
Shield.
No, self.
Okay. You can. You shield the other.
Nope.
While invisible, can you do cantrips?
Yes, and he will use the invisibility afterwards.
Because if you cast another,
You can cast spells, but if it's like a hostile action, it will drop your invisibility immediately.
So like Mage Hand to pick something up.
That's fine.
The spell ends for a target that attacks or casts spell.
Oh, is it? I have no idea.
Even the cantrip?
Okay.
Casts spell.
Anyway,
Okay.
as the cat splashes in, the three arrows shot, the guy is dead, and is immediately distracted by the cat, and the lizard men were startled.
You should help me.
There's 2 more shots are happening, so I'm gonna shoot twice on your cat.
Okay.
I don't know what the armor class of your cat is.
It's nil.
What?
Nil.
Ang armor class? Okay, so 1 hits, and
And
it
it's dead.
deals. What? Are you sure?
Yeah, it's dead. It's a normal cat.
Really?
It's not.
3 plus 2, 5 points of damage.
It's dead.
But cats are very nimble. Is there a
Yeah,
there
there's
should be
AC. Let me just.
AC for
The HP of that thing is not exactly.
yeah, the HP is gonna be low, but the AC might be.
Oh, it's armor class 12 and 2 hit points.
Okay. One arrow slightly misses it, gets the back hairs of the cat. The other one just straight through his torso. And Pushin is pushed dead.
Oh, isn't that terrible?
The 2 other humans just drops all of their weapons and tries to unbuckle the rest of their armor. This is not even worth it. We're getting out of here. And he runs to the general direction away from you, but away from them as well.
And then I charge the lizard folk.
Okay. Everyone charge the lizard folk. So you show yourselves, right? No?
I'm not gonna show myself,
Uh-huh.
but I'm gonna do it. And I'm gonna cast Dragon's Breath
Uh-huh.
on my owl,
Uh-huh.
and I'm gonna send it there. I'm gonna do a flyby attack. And do Dragon's Breath.
Mm-hmm.
They're clustered, right?
No, they're not really clustered, but okay. Let me put this up here. Let's say that. Hold up. Let's say example.
There you go, son.
Right. Oh, should have kept. Okay. Example that. Okay. Oh wow, where's the rest of my numbers?
No, what do you need? Are those trees?
No, it's just the humans.
The humans?
I mean, not humans, just the lizard. Oh, what was
Alright.
that?
Why don't you just use these?
Oh, there.
You
Okay,
have
that's good.
lizards.
Okay,
And then these are doppelgangers.
sige. Let's say here's here, right? And then let's say Pusheen is there. Okay, dead. And then this is another the dead human, right?
Okay.
And then let's say that you guys are still here somewhere. The two people already dropped their gun and they're running all the way here on the southwest side, and you guys are over there.
Okay.
What do you want?
Who's with them?
This one?
Yeah.
And
He's on my shoulder.
on shoulder.
There.
And moi with my beside me. Yeah.
So they've already done their shots. They already ran away. Pushing us down. What do you guys do now?
I charge.
Surprise round.
Oh, surprise!
Nothing will slow me down in this terrain, so I have 40 feet of movement.
Huh?
I charge. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow. 80 feet is only here.
Okay.
Is there a hindrance?
No, so far it's just like a normal one, relatively clear. But all the other side, the muck seems to deepen again.
So there.
Okay.
And then I cast Fireball on
Okay.
this guy.
Okay.
This, 17.
Who do you cast fireball on?
Fireball.
Okay. Can I? Okay. Yeah. Do you roll?
17. So
That hits.
damage is only 10.
Oh yeah, Sam, since I leveled up, I replaced Goodberry with Cure Wounds.
Okay.
8.
Okay. You deal 8 damage to it. It's well out of nowhere, right? You shot it from the mist. And
And I say to the two guys,
huh?
and I say to the two remaining survivors,
Uh-huh.
stand your ground. If you flee, they're gonna hunt you and kill you.
Okay. Okay.
Guys are eviler than me.
They're stopping. They're currently shaking in their boots. They're not running away, but
To them.
they're not running away, but they seem like they're not in a mood to fight. But they're now waiting their turn. Okay. How much damage was it again?
Stay behind.
How much damage was it?
8. Just stay behind.
Okay.
So I already cast the while we're still hiding, I cast the
Huh?
to
Dragon's Breath. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you only cast one spell at a time.
that was while we were hiding.
Okay.
So
So
what was going on
use Dragon's Breath. Okay.
after that. So let's go do a flyby.
Okay.
Not yet. Not doing anything yet.
Yep. Just zooming at top speed. Okay. What do you want to do?
Where did the person go down?
This is it.
The guy that died?
Yep.
This is D6?
Yep.
Oh,
Three.
this is this guy.
That's Pushin. That's it.
Machine.
I want to move as close as I can to the D6.
Okay. Move.
No, I'm back there.
Oh yeah.
That's as far as you can go.
Okay. Alright. I'll go there and I guess I will show myself.
Mhm.
Say, ta-da! Well,
Hex.
Hexaku and attack that guy.
Okay.
But it's active for 1 minute.
Yeah.
Plus 6. That's a 12.
That
13.
13. That just misses.
Oh,
He ate the fireball from elsewhere, but he was able to dodge, or at least withstand your
alright.
Eldritch Blast. Your turn.
Okay, so I go.
Blue. I put
It's there.
Uh-huh.
And vicious mockery.
Okay.
Get around with tail behind your back.
Okay, I make a will save, right?
Yep.
I make a will save. Oh, sorry, this cop.
Were you mocking him?
19. He doesn't understand. He's just nursing the firebolt that got singed on his shoulder. But otherwise, pays you no mind. You're surprised. Okay.
Then I charge.
Okay. Oh, it's already moved, right?
Yeah.
Okay, pade. So it's still their turn because it's you and you and you. Okay. The lizard men, seeing as how you would notice that their demeanor was like they were taunting this guy over here. Seeing upon there's actually more qualified people with magics, they turn tail and run. So they run. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he splashes down to the deeper end of the water and swims down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He swims down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is still here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one, nope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's down. So the only thing is visible in here. The rest have swum down to the deeper portion of the muck. I'm not gonna roll initiative for this, just for you.
Okay. They ran away?
Excuse me, I'm
Yep.
Well, there's nothing going there already.
How far away are
They're based on from my bird, which they're about 80 feet.
you? So this should still be in range. 120 from me.
From your
Yeah.
Mhm.
They're about if you move,
Move and shoot.
that's 25 squares. Yeah. Estimated. So if you move, 25.
That's what I would do is move forward a bit
Mhm.
and move my mark to this guy.
Okay.
Try to get a shot on him.
Okay. Still nothing.
67.
That's pretty bad. Nope. You.
125 feet.
He's gonna escape.
The lizard man resists the torment. Yep. Who else has movement?
Me.
What do you want to do? Oh, you already moved, right? What are you gonna do with pushing?
Yeah, cure wounds.
You could try to stabilize him, I guess, by making a medicine check.
You cast cure wounds.
Then how about this guy?
Forget that guy.
No, the other guy's dead.
I have more emotional attachment to Pussy. Pero I will get this sword later. I have to say priorities.
And then
Nice. Nice. This one. 10.
I don't even know how stabilizing works. Wait, let me check.
Stabilizing is
Alright. Let's read. Oh, DC 10 medicine check. Okay, so it's stabilized. It's still unconscious, but it's no longer dying. You stroke the cat. You try to remove the arrow wounds.
the only one gets hit.
That's it. Has everyone already moved?
It needs to dex save.
Mhm. That's a 9. It's a 9.
9. Spell save 14.
Yeah, he failed.
Fail. That guy takes 13 damage.
Oh, firebolt damage?
Fire.
Dragon's breath, Nemo?
No, yeah, the breath. The
Okay.
dragon's breath. And then I'm gonna shoot it with.
Okay. Nope.
First one knife.
So your eagle first swoops in. It's like burning. Feathers are almost burning to a crisp. It releases the breath. It hits it a lot. It's kind of hurting. But your follow-up spell misses entirely wide. Has everyone had a turn already? Okay. So obviously, they are Quan and Superior, and then they are gone and they are swimming down there. The two guards are still standing guard, and they were now sagging to their knees in relief.
Dude, come here.
Whew. And then they slowly go to you.
What happened here? Why are you here? Well, he's dead.
he's dead. There's nobody to.
So you take the sword, the life ender, as you say, and then as you pick up the sword, the two guards, you take a look at the two guards to see if they object. They're like kind of still shocked, and they don't really care that you're looting the fight.
Yeah. Like I asked them, why are you here? Like, what are you doing here? I saw your.
As they approach you, they go and they spit on the body of this guy.
Tell me what happened.
Well, you see, we were following the Master's son, another one of his wayward adventures. He said he wanted glory and all of that stuff. Got us these armors and stuff. I'm a baker. What am I even doing here? And I'm a tailor. He says there's adventures to be had, and the old master just told us to make sure that the young master doesn't get into any trouble. Oh my god, we're so screwed. Our masters are killed. I'm out of here.
Let me see his cape.
Why is
What's his
why,
cape
why
like?
is he here?
Can you pass me his cape?
Okay, librarian here.
Is it nice?
It's
not
It's a goop. It's sort of fine, a little bit, but it's actually not made of
Not
sturdy
as
stuff.
nice as
It's
mine.
actually frayed and ragged right now.
Yep.
And you would notice as well that as you kicking on the corpse of the dead, it's gold burnished, but it's not really. It's just gold plated.
So it's not.
It's light. When you kind of step on it, it crunches already under its weight. The only thing.
In other words, he was wearing ceremonial armor.
This is true. Correct.
Is this guy carrying gold?
You loot it, and then they don't care. There's nothing.
There's nothing. He just has a fancy armor.
How did you guys get here?
Well, the young master is.
Why are you
Oh,
here when you don't have a rate of exploration?
that's true. We just got here a few days ago. The young master would like to. I think he actually spoke to the king. Wanted to, try to impress upon the king that he's an adventurer from a noble house. the king just basically sent it off, and he was warned many times not to do this. But he really wanted adventure. He just went on his way, and we had no choice. We had to we had to follow him in there.
I want to get a good look at his face. Do I know this guy?
It is, in fact, as you surmise, the same noble who tried to bully his way into the king's throne room, asking for accommodation.
Yeah, but
And
do I know him from my life as a noble?
make a history check, I guess.
In any case, I'm good at history. That's a 13.
It is
This is your
from.
ward, and I suggest that you bury him.
Why? It's just from a minor house. It's not even that rich. It's just like
He's not even that rich.
Ah, okay.
You don't bury him here though. You guys take him home to his mom and dad.
No, we can't do that, good sir. That would be our death sentence. What are we to do?
That's what you get.
But
Well, I don't think.
I'm just a baker.
It's their fault.
Persuasion check.
Okay.
Hold on. You're employed by this noble. Do they know that you went with this guy?
Well, yes, because the old master asked us to keep this guy out of trouble, but the young master is so insistent. He wanted to be the hero of legends.
Very well. Put in a good word for me. Cure wounds on the guy. Cure wounds. Oh, he's really dead. He cannot.
He's really dead.
Because
He's at a PC.
Pushing is more important.
Pushing is more important than this guy. So, in that case,
Unless you have raised dead.
So persuasion check. I shall sing of his glorious and in battle, and it shall be sang to all the provinces.
Okay, make a persuasion check there. I like that.
22.
32. You would do that for us?
Yes. This isn't really your war, so. Yes, for glory and battle.
And I say that if you want to live with this one, I suggest that you yeah.
I mean,
At least now we have a baker.
Could go to the yeah.
You could put it on our plate.
I mean, that's very kind of you, sir. But well, you can create, if you would persuade them that the story, then that would be good. At least the old master would accept this. But our heads will still be off for this.
So I think you just need to.
So we need to get away from here. We can't be seen again.
But in the case,
And now we're stuck in this hellhole. What are we gonna do?
This place, you need to go to this our campsite, our main campsite.
Send them to the house.
And there's gonna be people that are gonna help you. We can, I think, do that. We need
What does Spike advise me to do?
Sorry, say
What does Spike advise me to do?
why do you make me
more souls.
Eat their soul. I tell you what.
Not tasty souls though. These are weak, strapping.
You better take this body back to its mom and pop because they are very worried, or I will eat your soul.
no, he won't. He's just
Make intimidation check.
Oh, I'm good at intimidation. What do you know? It's a 7.
So I go at the back of them. Don't listen to him.
Our souls being taken would be much preferable than the wrath we would incur by the old master. The things he would do.
So can I take the soul?
And then the baker says, "This is useless. I'm out of here." And they just run and ignore you guys.
Hold
At
on.
all.
I don't
Hold
care.
on.
I don't care. If they don't want to die, they don't. They can
So
do
I'm
it.
gonna ask you, do you know the way being
You
on
want
the
to
way
make
out, it's fog. There's a lot of fog.
We should be able to get. We're just in here a little bit. We'll just backtrack. We're okay.
I don't think that's gonna work out.
Well, if we die here and we die elsewhere, there's nothing else for us to do. We just need to get away.
We have to count how many miles that we travel.
Okay.
Only 2 hours.
We have a count on hours, but about 2 hours that way.
Okay.
So you will find 3 halflings at that place. Stay there till we get back. Tell them Leandro Baltimore said this is the camp.
Okay. What do we do in the camp after?
Well,
You prepared for us.
for now, prepare for
At least
make
that's what you can
yourselves.
do for gratitude for saving your lives.
Yep, make yourselves useful.
Alright.
You go back to civilization once this journey is over.
I guess. Ah,
And then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna designate the alarm and all of them.
okay. Well, I guess if we're gonna die not here, if we're gonna die by the old master, then I want to get a clean. I want to change my underwear first, and then they often go to the place that you asked them to go.
Regarding his quote-unquote live ender, pretty
Hmm?
sure this is fake, but what's live and is it fake?
It's just
Make an investigation check.
You want me to see it? I have eye investigation. Or probably Arcana. Arcana or investigation?
Investigation lang sa. Nope. You wanna try?
Nope, nothing.
Investigation.
Okay.
Wow, seriously? That's a 15.
Okay, 15. You take it, you pass it around. It's a flimsy little thing. You take it. Everything here is fake. You, being the preeminent sword looter, you notice that everything else in his body is just ornamental, but this one actually has some hefts. It's actually passable. It's kind of sharp. It's well maintained. It could be something.
Well, one thing for sure, it's good sword.
Does it contain any magic?
Oh yes, Arcana check. It's magic. It's really magic.
Oh, wait. Yeah,
You take it? Okay.
Getting a bit relevant.
So everything is they've left to the shack.
And they didn't take the corpse with them.
They didn't take the corpse with them.
That's fine. There must be some hollow prayer out
Wait, before we
Fenwick actually says, you know what? In their predicament, it actually might be better if they don't return the body. I mean, they could just say that he got lost. It's possible. I think bringing back the body would just enrage the master, whoever he may be.
Spike, do you eat human corpses?
Yes.
I don't want to.
Spike, you can eat all you want.
Okay.
Don't get too fat so you won't be able to fly.
Like, before doing anything drastic, the armor is ceremonial. Does it look valuable?
No, it's basically tin. Painted to gold.
Tin armor.
It's like softer than a Spam can.
No, I mean, it can still.
It's ornate though. It's painted.
I know, it can still be sold.
Sorry?
It can still be sold.
Sure. I guess so.
Take the armor, put it in a sack, bury it somewhere, I'll return for it.
In fact, as you take the armor and you want try to put it in the sack, you just go ahead and bend it down and just fold it and bend it down and just fold it and you put it back in.
Because it can still be recycled or repurposed.
Okay. Then put in your inventory 1 scrap tin.
Scrap it.
before he eats the corpse, so
Mhm.
it's at least his last rites, even though I don't know the gods.
Mhm. Okay. So, alright, make a performance. That's an intro one.
That is the worst song ever.
you clear your throat. Here is for the dearly departed. Sprite just goes.
I don't want to see this.
Huh? What? Did you say something? The corpse is eviscerated fully and
On a
stuff.
scale of 1 to 20, I give that song a 1.
Well, he was a terrible guy, so he deserves a terrible song.
I'm like the doctor and I don't find any further spots to explore.
Okay. As
Fiddle, Skull Island.
okay, as you walk through here, as they're splashing down there, this would be like a mucky muck. There's gonna be a clearing you can circle either from the north or from the south. It's the water, you know, widens up a bit that you can't cross directly. You try to go in, and it's already knee deep, and then waist deep, and then it's basically a deep enough lake of some kind that you're not able to traverse. Yeah, so you have to spin out a little bit. North south.
Let's take the road south.
Road south.
So going to the south, southern end.
Okay.
Because the general direction points us at south and southeast.
Yeah, I mean, based on here as well, you're still generally going in the correct direction. You're just not able to traverse here directly. Going north or south will still be close enough to your primeval awareness and where the bird will lead you.
Okay,
Note to self, I'm best on a ship. I'm best on a boat.
Okay, so you're gonna go south. Okay, you're gonna go south. And you're gonna keep going until let's say about a total of 5 more hours pass. So it's about 10 o'clock at day.
Renew Mage Armor.
How long does the mage armor last?
8 hours.
Would we have
I mean, you're still fine. You're like halfway there.
Can we
Still.
do a short rest before we venture forth? A short rest is just 10 minutes, right?
1 hour.
1 hour?
1 or 2 hours.
We can proceed.
Is it 1 hour? Yeah. So you go through, right? So as you go south, maxing out on the spells. As you go south, the river bank or the lake bank, goes pretty south until it kind of curves, and then you're on a semblance of a straight already, right? A little bit like that. 5 hours in, the same thing that happened in the forest area. Devastation went bad, broken rocks, signs of disarray still, until you come to a point where you notice that if this is the water, and then you're already pretty much on the south side. All along that, there's like a sea. Sorry, not the sea, just a lake, and there should be. You can perceive far away like a large mud island.
Oh, great.
It's not really an island. It's just earth that's muddy and it's compact. So there's like a gap in the water, probably around 60 feet, and then you get land as well. You can still go a little bit over there. You can try to go. You can either go straight, hearing the contours, but you can already perceive an island over there.
Yeah, that's just good.
I can have my hours scout that island if there's any interest.
That's the thing. That may be a mud island, but I'm sure it's a nest of something.
Well,
Wait, primeval awareness, what do I detect from it?
I'm
Still humanoids.
Humanoids in the... must be the lizard's den.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to you and say that as you're tasting it, it's lizard smells, lizard feel, lizard blood, and there's now a larger concentration of it here right now.
So guys, do you want to progress the story or gain experience? What do you suggest?
Why would I want to waste my time killing lizards?
There could be something valuable at the head.
The point is, we're just here to explore it. So at least we now know that is a lizard's den.
We could talk to the lizards.
You can try.
like
Well,
Do you have
if they can speak common.
I don't think I mean, we encountered them earlier.
You can also see, still kind of foggy. Across the island, there seems to be like a light source, one singular. You would presume it is like a bonfire of some kind.
Do I detect this particular section in that area now? I'll have my owl just do a flyover
Okay.
and then come back. And I can see what it's seeing and
Right, so you do it telekinetic. So you slowly over the edge. As I said, the bank here, and then it's probably 60 feet of water, and then the outer lip of the island. So there's still a ways away. So at the maximum end of your 100 feet,
it's still there.
you can still perceive through the familiar, and it's flying a little bit, kind of safely above around 40 feet, not low enough that it can be seen, or just high enough that you can sort of. It is an island. Indeed, there's a large bonfire in the middle. There are straw huts, mudded straw huts. One large straw hut in the middle, and a congregation of, as you would say, lizardmen. And then, as you're waiting, as the bird is waiting, you would see 5 lizardmen approaching, swimming, ascending up, and walking in there. And there's some sort of chitter chatter, chitter chatter, chitter chatter, chitter chatter,
We
chitter
need
chatter.
to hide the other. We need to hide the
And then they're chitter chattering, and then they're pointing in the general direction, which is west, which is you no longer are because you're curved down to the southwest or the south.
They're really hunting for us. They just
And in addition, there's a bonfire, many straw huts, one large straw hut. The 5 people are going inside chattering, and one larger lizard is going. And then he says, "Let's go there." At the edge of the vision, make a perception check.
That's 11.
That's 11. Okay. Right where the island bonfire hut, on the backside, there seems to be like a large slab of land. There seems to be an opening. This is like something that's constructed, probably marble. Human, not really like it, not really tribal. It's just like engineering is involved here. It's kind of slanted a little bit. Over half of it is submerged under the muck, and it's a ruin, yeah. But it's like slightly tilted and submerged a little bit. But the opening is there.
Angles and how it's constructed, like machine work or.
No, it's just like a marble stone structure. It said that it's supposed to be standing. It's kind of slipping in, but there's one big entrance that you can see it's like angling down a little bit.
I tell them this. It seems that there's a point of interest there. There's a ruin of some sort. Not.
let's do the mic for the meeting.
So if they're leaving, then we go
Sneak
in.
in, yeah. I know.
It's possible to do that.
They left. 5 people came in. About 5 more come out, fully equipped with spears and javelins going in here. The big one is still in the hut and is basically sitting down in the hut again. So there's still a sparse few, probably 15 more.
And the big one stayed?
The big one stayed, yeah.
The big one is
The big one stayed. We should kill the big one.
Maybe we should wait here for an hour.
Short rest. Short rest. Yeah.
Because
But
the
the
might come
question
back.
here is how do we get there?
Swim.
I'm not about to swim on open water 60 feet from. You said that there's you can go around.
Yeah, as far as you can see, you still haven't went further east.
Let's see if there's a more shorter route over land towards that.
Okay.
It's better that we do that first. Besides, the fact that there's going to be a war party coming back, it will take all of us to take care of that.
Okay. So you go further west. Um, Not really a concentric, even curve, but eventually through twists and turns, it kind of closes up a little bit, and you would notice that you're already on a side where you can see a better view of the sunken structure itself. As far as you know, the lake is still a lake. The mound of island is not really. It's just like raised mud somehow, and it actually leads through to the mausoleum mouth of the entrance itself. But you would notice that you were looking for things that you traverse to the area. You can find no such thing. You would presume that based on how the lizard men approached in there, they just basically swam. No footbridges. As far as you know, they don't need it, and it's probably a bad thing for them to have footbridges in that area.
What do you want to do? I would like to get inside that room.
Not yet.
But are we gonna be swimming?
Suddenly, you hear a distant noise coming from the north of you. A yelling noise, a challenging voice saying, "I am from House Divine, and I shall smite you all!"
Maybe they counted it. Oh my god. They counted it.
How?
They counted them. The other
It's moose.
that was moose.
And then after already sending away 10 people, the remaining people, you go there now, you go there now. They went north, so the first sentry group pointed you guys to the west, right? The voice comes presumably from the north. They've thinned out even more, but the big one is still left in the camp as well. But he's hastily commanding them to go there, and their attention seems to be preoccupied right now. You don't see if they've crossed or swam. All you know is that their attention is also being taken to the north by the very Batman-like, non-stealthy at all. You can actually hear the clink of armor because they're not at all stealthy like you guys. So if you notice right now, there's now a manageable, quote unquote, amount of people left in the base camp.
But we're still gonna swim, huh?
But you still have as far as about 60 feet of water to traverse.
So it's the same as the other.
Make everyone make a perception check. You take advantage.
Yeah, that's only a 10.
Advantage.
Oh, never mind.
18.
Okay,
5.
18.
18.
that's an 18.
That's an 18. Okay. Between the two of you, you will notice again, as I've said, that the island is an island. It's just mud deposits being run out. As far as you can see as well, it leads to the opening here. On the sides, based on your ranger training, it seems like what you would assume to be the structure that got sunk in to the mud. You would notice in between you're collaborating. It's probably the opposite of what happened. It's probably some unknown force that raised it up, and from the inside of the mausoleum from underground spewed all the mud outside instead.
So that ruins magical.
You think?
Yeah.
The marble structure also has the same arcane devastation that happened as well, and it's much more kanang concentrated. It's much more severe here as well. Make another insight check. Everyone make an insight check. Everyone make an insight check. Insight. 6.
10.
18.
18.
I have 13.
Um, this ranger has no idea what's transpired before. These guys have no clue as well. He's too busy poring over the nose. See what's happened. You, as far as you can perceive, based on the concentricity of this, that if it was caused by the dark shard effect, what would cause this effect, if the similar effect would happen from the forest area, this would be a much larger cache based on the general area of where you've been circling compared to the one node inside the cliff face of the house. And triangulating it, it is coming from the inside of the.
Obviously, there's a giant dark shard in there.
Be back. Alright then, I'll be back. Gotta go down and swim it.
Are you gonna go down and swim it?
Yeah, to check if. Yeah, I've got
Okay.
vision.
I will stay on the shore and
I have a vision, but
shoot things from here. It's only 60 feet away.
Okay.
What I'm gonna do is I'm going to see what's really down there.
Okay.
on the winds, you mean?
Yeah, because if it's a ruin down there, I want to see what's down there first.
Okay, you mean on the side of the structure. You would also see, you dip a little bit, you check fauna. It's about relatively deep, about 20 feet or ish. Fish, no crocodiles yet, fauna, seaweed. The structure part, where it's tilted a little bit, it goes all the way down.
All the way down.
All the way down. So you would surmise that it's not just a structure, it's actually more cavernous underneath.
And the only known entrance is there in the mud island.
In the mouth. And that's where you presume that the lizard men made their campfire there.
Okay, so
As far as you can see though, there's no lizard men over there. Probably just a token guard, because the mud island is now on full alert. People are sent to the west. Moose is making racket up there. There's just the larger lizard men and a very small token guard just at the outside.
alright, so what I'm gonna do is
Staying at attention.
I'm going to swim towards the mud island. What I'm gonna do is that since there's like the ruins here and then the village is there, I'm going to creep up the top of that ruin.
Wait for us. Do you want to go to the island?
I shall swim.
Up.
Okay, so you're gonna go all the way to the east, to that. You can just get to the point where, all the way to the east, so that if this is the mouth of the Kuan, you're just gonna swim here, and you will eventually lead to a ledge where you can sort of walk to the
So
side.
that I can inspect what else is there.
Okay, everyone make stealth checks
Okay.
to see if you can circle through.
Whoa!
I'm very stealthy.
Hey,
That's a 11.
11. Okay, well that's good enough as a group. So you quietly creep to the west eastern side, and then you splash down very slowly, and it's deep for about a few meters, a few feet, probably around 20 feet, and then you're able to step now a little bit on the roof, which is basically flat. It's still kind of slippery until you can get to the top basically now, and you can get a better vantage point as well. You could try to sneak in if you could, but people are really on attention right now, and there's just like constant lizardmen patrols coming in here. But you count probably just a few, probably less than 8, you don't know for sure, people in the island right now.
So there's no way, well, technically for me, I can just go in stealthily.
About 8 that's walking around. You don't know who was in the huts. There's about 4 or 5 huts. But as far as you can see right now, it's just the big one and a bunch of small ones, numbering about 8 or so.
Well, by myself, I can actually sneak in. I wanna know if they have some sort of.
As long as I've got a good vantage here, I can shoot things that if they come at you. So,
That's
how are you?
that's totally up to you. Okay, what do you want to do? Well, I try to do something here.
What I want to do is want to sneak towards the village. So, but I want to see what that big lizard is.
Okay, make a perception check.
From here, can I see the big lizard?
Yep. It's just like booga, 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 and stuff.
27.
27. It's larger. It's not wearing like normal rags. It has better accoutrement. It doesn't have any weapons though, but it's just generally bigger, generally larger than the rest. And you can see it's domineering over the rest as well, making commands and then.
So how many, other than the big lizard guy, how many others are there in the village?
As far as you can see, there are. I said 8.
Yeah.
But 4 of them are like in the corners, at the edge of the east and southwest and northwest side. Along with the lizard, the big one, it's just a couple. So just 3 of them within the bonfire itself, and 2 more.
Do you want to sneak in?
Like for example,
Detect magic on the big lizard.
if
He wants to.
this is the lip and this is the bonfire, so there's here and here and here, and the rest are like in the lip of the island because
here, yeah.
they're looking here
Right there.
and then they're looking there.
You shoot right down.
So there's like a couple here probably, and then a couple here,
We have something.
and they're like sentry perimeter, and you guys are here at the lip
Like
relatively.
Detect magic on the big lizard.
I don't know if detect magic will attract attention to the guy. I would.
Unless it's within my
I mean,
line of sight.
oh yeah, right. This detect magic. Nope, it's a lizard.
So there's
oh yeah.
what do you call it? No magical energy on it. It doesn't seem to have any magic items.
No.
I'm gonna dismiss.
Okay.
This one I can call it in anytime.
Hmm?
I think we should sneak in, but we need to distract first.
How far up is this?
I might say from the vantage point about 30 to 40 feet, and then there's probably a small incline. I'm gonna say that if you want to drop down, you're not gonna take any damage because you can just basically like slide a little bit. I'll make an acrobatics or athletics
Is
check.
there an easy way that they can climb up?
To your knowledge, no.
So if we're going down, we're going down.
Or you just
I'll stay here and shoot them from above while you guys sneak around, so I can make the distraction of the.
Or we can avoid combat altogether. Just sneak in.
yeah, I probably understated. This is probably all the way here, and yeah, something like that.
Sneak into the here without them. You see, they're right there. They're right in front of it.
That's why we're needing another diversion.
Another diversion.
Cool. You can suggest him to, but if it fails,
Explain.
Oh, explain.
Yeah, that is true. Suggest and cast suggestion spell on the big lizard. Make him
order the climber go away. Take him down.
Ooh, this is gonna be good. All right.
Then we go in.
Yeah, read your spell first to see if it works.
Yeah,
I don't even know how this works.
Wait, suggestion, right? Yeah,
I got it. here.
Suggestion, or maybe a charm person.
Yeah. Suggestion.
Mm.
I'm not strong enough for charging thing 4 or 5. Suggestion. Suggest one course of activity limited to sentence or flow magically influence creature can save them race that can hear and understand you.
Oh shit, understand you.
There was
Lizard.
Yeah, that's supposed to be good language.
delete it.
Let me check just to be sure.
1 second, 1 second. I have comprehend languages, but I didn't prepare it.
You can understand. I don't know if you can.
Comprehend.
Anyway, can anyone speak Draconic?
Draconic? Yeah, that's one of my languages.
But well, I don't know how's that gonna work.
I think I need to pass. I think I need to leave. My other suggestion would be blindness or deafness.
Now alert them actually.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that when you cast the blindness effect, it's gonna go boom blind. It's gonna the rest will probably see you.
Can you make the fire do something again?
I can thaumaturgy.
Yeah.
Is it? What time is it?
It's around 10-ish in the morning.
10 in the morning?
Yeah. Yeah, because he started like a day, right?
Oh,
And then
yeah.
it's been 4 hours, so it's 8, 9, 10, 11, 10 or 11.
So it's midday, but you have to have a bonfire.
Yep.
You can.
Cooking maybe. Fire. I just say we blast it.
Better idea. Run around the camp.
And then escape.
Yeah.
I'm going to
So basically, I want Pushin to start running around the camp, get everybody's attention,
Okay.
then escape.
If that cat dies 9 times, then it's dead for good. Another one.
Hey, is that what you guys are doing?
No, pwede. Originates from the point of your choice within
There we
range.
go. So we copy the Zane's voice, push it somewhere near so that they'll be alerted that they're near.
Mhm.
You can actually do multiple things. I can even consider it.
Then you can make the fire dance and make it like into people and stuff.
Yeah, we can use that as instruction.
You can put on a whole puppet show in the fire for them to watch.
Here's what. Come at me, bro, in Draconic. So I want it to be
Uh-huh.
Pick up your wizard. I don't think you're worthy. I challenge you. Come at me, bro.
Wait, what's happening again? You're gonna challenge it directly?
No. He's gonna use thaumaturgy, so he's gonna throw his voice.
Okay.
So I'm translating what in Draconic.
Okay.
The following sentence is.
Just the voice.
Yeah. Because it's his voice.
Yeah, but
so he
pero-
must speak in Draconic.
But thaumaturgy just produces the voice, no image, nothing like that. Okay.
Yeah, your voice booms up to 3 times as loud as normal.
Okay.
I have an idea.
One of the following
I have an
magical
idea.
effects.
I have a better idea. You can deceive them that the battle's not here. You have to reinforce these people there. So you can throw a battle, like a battle is going on now. Like the planting of swords,
If you cast the spell multiple times, you have only 3 of its 1-minute effects active at a time.
What's the range on how far can you throw the voice? 30 feet. Okay, so let's say you guys are here. So that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. It's gonna come from here. Okay.
So one for you.
Alright, sige.
Oh wait, how about here? You go right.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. One.
Okay, you're gonna go there and you're gonna throw the voice there. Okay.
3 is for me. 4 on the floor.
So,
5.
dramatic effect.
Sige. Here's what I'm gonna do. Here's what I'm gonna allow. And here's what you need to happen. It's gonna be a double skill challenge. First of all, he's gonna do the thing. And then you're gonna make this performance check so that they'll get in. Resist it against my I don't know, insight, right? And then if that works, everybody's need to roll a stealth roll so you can get in. Otherwise, this goes kaput. Just so that you know what's at stake.
Okay.
So, you do it. What do you say in Draconic?
Hey,
2 is for you.
You're gonna transcribe it. Blah 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 blah. Okay.
big ugly asshole, I challenge you to a duel, come at me, bro.
Okay. Make an
4 on the floor. Pero stable na lang.
make a performance check
5 is for
Do you want
guard.
aid?
Yeah.
Nag-clap ko, then the person is
against my insight check. You roll first.
I'm gonna aid you.
Okay, give him advantage. So
I shall use Bardic.
you go ahead and massage his vocal cords. Vocal cords massage.
I can help you with incantations.
Yeah. You focus him. You aid him. So he gets advantage on a skill check. That's
You're the one that knows Draconic.
You say I help with it.
Draconic?
All girls.
You should aid
Oh
him.
yeah, you should be aiding him.
Yeah.
No, because it says here, you manifest meaning him. That's why I'm telling you what
But
to
Yeah,
do.
there-
aid you.
yeah, you're doing the aid.
Okay.
It works the other way. It's the same. You aid by transcribing. You aid by massaging the throat.
9 is for Ryan. 10 murag category, no?
You'll take the 17.
Plus 5.
Okay.
3.
My wisdom modifier is +2. Okay.
9 is
22.
for someone dog.
Okay, good. So, what do you say?
Pick up your wizard by the fire. You're too weak to lead this tribe. I challenge you to a duel. Come at me, bro.
So the biggest is and seemingly surprised that someone was able to penetrate in, considering you're already sent out, and he needs to pass the threat. They move here, here. Example here. Well, 30 feet from here. They move here. Now I need you guys to make stealth checks to jump in.
22.
22.
23.
15.
I can aid you.
No, he can't aid you. You're far away. He's there.
Yeah, but I was aiding him earlier.
Oh, that's true. Okay, I'll allow it.
Still have Bardic. Can I use my Bardic inspiration?
Yeah.
Ayan, let's drop. Let's drop. Make your goal.
Ten.
Bardic inspiration.
For example, may dapat after any
16.
Okay. You.
Isa pa na make a rule, no one
Invisibility. Okay.
Invisibility.
No one rolled below 15.
Question master, for example,
No one rolled below 15.
15 is what I rolled.
15 is exactly what. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
then king is the last king.
as the voice is being thrown there, a challenge in Draconic Spin, you immediately jump or slide or whatever. You swing by with a like a rappel-like thing and just go down with slowly. Both of you kind of slip a little bit. You almost cinch your hair on the fire, but otherwise, you are inside. Your cat didn't do anything, right? I mean, it didn't go here.
No, it didn't
You
go.
dismiss your familiar spike is at your shoulder. You have a pussy. You're carrying some pussy, okay? And then you're able to go inside. None the wiser, as far as you know. And we'll take a break for now. It's very hard to find. Okay.
Ruins.
This room is okay. So, you entered stealthily, to your knowledge, right? It's the mausoleum, as I said, it's on a slight incline, but not really enough that your movement is impaired. So just slight incline, right? As you would notice from the inside as well, based on what you've discovered, the mud kind of spilled forth from here, and the marble in the inside, it's old marble. Old, not old in the sense that it's dirty and dilapidated. It's old in the sense that it's old stone, probably ancient, to that effect. The interiors are muddy. It's pretty high, from like 30 feet. It's just a square room, and there's no lighting here because it's muddy. Dark vision. You can't see anything.
Don't you have the invocation devil's sight?
No, I didn't take that.
Oh.
Maybe I'll be blind better.
Okay, man.
So it's like a long hallway-ish, high ceiling. At the center is what appears to be a sarcophagus.
Sarcophagus.
It's a sarcophagus, a little bit squared off room. On the right side, there's a rusted iron door, based from where you're entering it. Large room, sarcophagus, iron door.
Huh. Okay.
I don't want to open this.
What's that, Spike? You say, open the sarcophagus?
Okay, with someone else.
What do you guys do?
Go over
Well,
and
I go towards the iron gate.
Like an
iron door.
Okay.
See if there's, is it locked? Is there magic?
No. Make an investigation check. And are you attending with the sarcophagus?
investigating the sarcophagus.
Investigation check.
23.
It's a sturdy door. It's old. It's rusted. It's pretty thick though. It has some function, but there doesn't seem to be any magic effects of some kind. Maybe there's locks, but it's now at this point caked in mud. There's some effect.
Oh, okay.
Make it okay. It's a large sarcophagus. It's very ornate. The only one sarcophagus. An 18 investigation check reveals that under the sarcophagus, in the front, there's an epitaph.
Wow, what does it say? Can I read it?
You can read it. You brush up a little bit of the mud, and it says, "Here lies Elkan, protector of the land, keeper of the curse. May many others succeed the beauty of the former, and no other follow the burden of the latter." I repeat, here lies Elkan, protector of the land, keeper of the curse. May many others succeed the duty of the former, and no other succeed the burden of the latter.
Okay, so
What's it say? What's it say? Yeah, open it.
basically, it's just that may no other bear the latter.
Curse.
What was he's two things. What was the two things?
He was a champion of the land, right?
Protector of the land,
Protector of the land.
And
keeper of the curse, keeper of the curse.
keeper of the
Keeper of
curse.
the curse, but what is the curse?
So may you be the first.
Many people be the first, but none you be the last. The first being first.
See if I can see it.
Make a just speak it.
Strength?
Yep. Make an athletics check.
Athletics minus 1. 5.
Let's just go to the door.
You have a marble cut.
You know, oh my god, he's gonna open it. I'm trying to see if we can open the door.
Okay.
Okay?
Investigation on the door. It's just a sturdy iron door.
So it cannot be opened with any lockpick.
You can't open. You try to clean it up a little bit, maybe. Let's say that you're able to clear it enough that you can see the keyhole a little bit.
It's a good thing I have thieves tools.
Okay. Make a lockpick check. I don't even know what that is.
It's just a thieves dexterity check.
Okay.
If you're proficient with thieves tools, you add your
Okay.
proficiency. 10.
Then you insert the tip tools, and then you pull the lockpick. Naputol, stuck in the mud.
Try again.
Wait, stuck in
The keyhole. You try to clear out the mud. You try to check the tumblers. You couldn't click on the tumblers, and it got stuck with the inside interior mud. And he pulls it out. The lockpick broke, and part of it is in the muddy area.
Clear the
Okay. You clear the keyhole.
Try again.
You remove the muck, and the broken lockpick is removed.
Try again.
Yep.
Yeah. £5.
5 pounds only.
Besides, it needs tighter concentration. Unless you're an arcane trickster. Better. That is a 12.
That is a 12. You just barely. You may stand it out. You're able to, like, basically shovel most of the thing. You managed to hit some tumblers. Like, mechanisms are working a little bit, but it's kind of rusted already. You were not able. You hit tumblers, but you're not able to move it. It's kind of rusted already.
Okay. That's fine. We can try again later. Let's use it as a sarcophagus.
Okay. Who's gonna do the sarcophagus? What are you gonna do?
Not strong enough.
Make a strength athletics check.
Yep.
So basically this door is locked. Can I push it and see?
Make a strength check. Wait, 13? 14. Okay.
While he's doing that, I'll do this.
You managed to lift it a little bit up. Still kind of hard because there's going to be suctions happening. You managed to move it ajar a little bit, but not enough.
18.
Where?
18.
On the door? Yeah. So enough that you mentioned that you click the tumblers in. You were able to click it, but enough that you can make a push, and the rest it just breaks through and it opens slightly on the right hand side of the
So
door.
what do I see inside?
Okay. On that door, what you're able to see is another area. In this area, you would notice that the door is pretty sturdy because on the outside, mud is everywhere. In here, everything is relatively pristine. Aside from the mud cake on the entrance side of the door, it's very clean. Similar size to the previous room that you had. One side of the wall is just one wall of pretty reflective surface, not really a mirror, but it goes to show how much this area was kept clean, presumably for years. And it's still pretty shiny, sort of hid, shiny area. In the middle, where the pattern you would expect to see a sarcophagus, it's just a statue of a human, fully plate mail armored warrior type, in a stance of raising a sword, and the other hand is like carrying a shield.
History check. History check. I know this guy.
Make
History? Or...
Yeah.
Most likely history.
Okay, I'm gonna make you do a history check, both of you, as nobles with disadvantage. Disadvantage.
Question master.
Nothing can get worse.
Yeah.
No.
Some noble guy in a warrior
Is there
mob.
like a label or something?
Okay, as you take a look at the shield, it's a little bit caked in. It's muddy. There's a crest. It's an ancient crest. You didn't roll properly, right?
I rolled an 8.
Okay. Definitely a heraldry of some kind on the chest. On the yeah, copy it. It's ancient. You don't know what to make of it. The most you know, it's a human in origin, and that's all. And everywhere else, where the outside, it's like there's actually lightings happening here, but it's not torchlight. It's some sort of luminescence.
Bioluminescence?
No, it's more mechanical actually. Probably a lamp. Not electricity, but a lamp. Not fire, just lamp. A little bit flickering on the four corners.
It's been turned on for centuries.
Make an arcana check.
Oh. So it's 18. Yes, 18.
18. You would notice that these things are a combination of engineering and arcana. Gnomish in origin.
Okay.
So this light has been here for
That's it. So recap. Same wall, anti-room. Instead of a sarcophagus, it's just sword and shield statue. One side is fully polished. Everything's like normal marble still. And four corners, gnomish make of an illumination source. That's it.
Make us go further down the ruins. Is there nothing significant in this room that we can interact with?
Everyone make an investigation check.
Investigate the statue.
Aha. 21.
22.
6.
Jack, make a room again.
22.
22. Okay. As far as you can see, this room, based on the relative cleanliness, is probably sealed of some kind. So you would notice that there is no like secret gap or door where things would come in. It's a pretty secure room. 22, right? You notice though on the shield as you're copying it down, something's a little odd on the heraldry. The crest that you designed, you would notice that the symbol here, it's not really like a symbol that's etched on it or something. It's somehow recessed, like it's a relief, like there's a gap in it.
So try to push it.
And incidentally as well, with that roll, you notice that the shield is a different weird action with regard to the pose of the statue, because it's supposed to be some sort of victory or a battle pose, but surreptitiously the shield is aimed directly at the polished portion. It's like but then
So
But the recess, like, something needs to be put there.
you could say that, yeah.
Change his
Maybe
arm
open the
position.
zipper.
Sorry.
See if we can move his arm position.
You cannot. It's a solid
You
something.
need to open the zipper.
It's a solid statue.
It's like a solid stone carving, and the statue with the armor plates is like added onto it, so you can move the armor a little bit, but the base statue itself is like solid. You can't even push it, and it seems like from the pedestal, it's like carved directly on the pedestal. It's carried in. It's just carved in like.
Okay.
Alright. So how can you find let's open the sarcophagus?
Before that, we need
Yep.
to open the sarcophagus.
The arms. Can we move the arms?
No.
We're trying.
It's a solid state. Dude.
I blasted with my. Yeah, I'm gonna blast the statue
Which one?
with my Eldritch Blast. The statue.
Blast the statue. Doesn't even make a dent. You probably
There's nothing.
you dented the outer armor, but the statue itself is unyielding.
I'll open the statue.
Open the sarcophagus.
I can't. It's too heavy.
You go back outside to the other room, okay?
Alright, so well, since this thing is a sturdy blade, I'm gonna use the great sword as a crowbar.
Okay. I will give you a +5 to your roll this time on an athletics check.
Alright, so 12 plus 3. That is 18.
Okay. He's already pushed lifted a little bit. The moisture lifts a little bit, enough of a gap that you're able to lift. And then you lift it a bit, and then with all your pressure, the lip of the sarcophagus slides to the side and goes down with a thud. And inside, what you see is, as you expect, but not really, not a corpse, nothing of that kind. Similar armor of the statue. Similar make, similar design, but still ceremonial. Relatively shiny, not rusted yet, but
I tried to find a good the piece for that relief.
okay,
Yeah,
make
so-
an investigation check.
Must be on the corpse.
Yeah.
The shield they put together.
Yeah. 12.
12, okay.
The shields make the art.
You get rid of the thing, cobwebs a little bit, which is weird. Pretty solid sealed sarcophagus. If cobwebs, dust happen inside, well, mud presumably is all around. You're right. You take a look at focus at the shield, and whereas the previous shield was a relief, this one is a bust.
So this is what we put on the shield.
What do you do?
Male and goes in the female and
Yeah.
it is
And
that.
twist.
That's what you were.
Oh,
What
that's
you were telling me.
Ah, yes indeed. So I take the shield. Is it easily?
Yeah, the entire shield. You can take the entire shield. It's fine.
Okay.
Can I examine anything inside?
Yeah. What else is inside? Aside from
Nothing.
corpse.
It's just no corpse even. It's just ceremonial armor inside.
That's the corpse.
No corpse. Ceremonial armor, plate mail, sword, and then you just took the shield. That's it.
I guess plate mail could be perfect for this.
It's a ceremonial plate mail. In other words,
Oh, okay. It's not close enough?
Which one?
The plate mail.
Yeah. I mean, it's plate mail, but it's not it's not combat ready.
is the sword combat ready?
It's the same.
Take it
All of it.
and then you get in the sarcophagus.
You get into the sarcophagus.
I like that.
What are you doing?
Saying if I can trigger things.
It's a nice cool refreshing feeling. But otherwise,
Okay. I jokingly like seal it.
what? You jokingly seal it?
Too bad that the lid is too heavy for you.
The lid is already slided to the
I
side.
jokingly try to seal it. Like,
A practical joke is being played on you, but he was not able to lift it. And he begrudgingly says, joke only. Okay, what do you do now?
I seal it. Attached to the relief.
That's your relief. After taking the shield away, the shield on the other side, you would notice as well that whereas it was a stone statue, the armor is the armor there is probably smith in, and the sword is like, but the shield is actually part of the marble. It cannot be removed.
Okay, I'm guessing it can be turned.
Of the shield.
It inserts, right?
What?
The shield, the bust.
Oh, you remove the crest.
Yeah.
That shield, put on the other shield.
You put the shield on the other shield.
Nothing
happens.
Yeah, the bust. I thought that the shield had a bust.
Right.
So it's detachable.
What you do? You put the shield on top of the other shield.
Does it fit?
It fits, but it's reversed.
Upside down. Put the other shield upside down, and then put them together.
You try to do that, nothing happens. So what you would have in the visual be the shield, and then there's a recess, and you put on top of the shield, and it's just like, so it's not really fitting in there unless you put it. Reverse it, there's a gap. You reverse it, like to kiss it together, nothing happens still.
But what if, like, we insert it? So it's like a key, and then we twist or.
Okay,
Right.
you twist it, it's pretty hard. Make athletics check. Nope.
Someone try this. I'm too weak.
Wow.
We are all.
I will do it. I'm so strong. That's an 8.
None of us are strong.
Nope. You want to give it a shot? 13. All of you take turns. Twist, nothing. Twist, nothing. Twist, nothing. You twist with all your might. Something gives. And then, with your momentum, you slip. And then, what happens was, the crest detaches from the shield.
We broke it.
So right now, you have two shields with a hollow. One hollow there, one hollow there.
So what did we pull the crest from the shield at the top? So what happens?
Yeah, we put it in there.
Then let's see what happens. Okay, so
Shield.
You take the piece that got detached, hoping that you haven't damaged it to a certain degree. You put it in, it pretty much fits still, and it slides and somehow clicks into place. And then you hear, you sense arcane energy from the sarcophagus side.
Oh shit! I look to the sarcophagus.
You need to go closer to be able to see.
I edge closer to the sarcophagus.
Okay, when you edge closer to the climb, you
Reading
look
its spell.
ready as well. You notice that from the sarcophagus itself, ghostly apparition rises. And
Is it the same guy?
nope, it's shorter.
They made him bigger.
And you
But the facial features are the same.
not at all. This is not the human as depicted there. It's a smaller.
Is it a gnome?
It's a gnome.
It's a gnome. Hello, Mr. Gnome.
can we talk to the gnome?
He pays you a mile.
Anybody speak gnome?
Because you're still on the side, right? So the apparition just lights up there, not moving.
Say hello to him in halfling.
I shall speak to him in infernal.
Nothing happens still.
Hey, wait, sorry. I do know this.
Okay, go ahead.
Hello, my good sir.
It seems not to be able to hear you. It's not even looking in your general direction. It's just staring and standing.
What's it looking at?
It's just the front of the entrance.
Let's look at the direction where he's going.
Yeah.
It's the entrance.
We'll stand right in front of the gate.
Make an insight check.
Hey, bye!
spend all of probably 5 minutes just ringing out, oh, gnomish, draconic, evening, and after a while, for 5 minutes, because of you're petrified by what you've done so far, you would notice that this apparition, in as much as things can behave abnormally, is not behaving normally. It's just standing there, doesn't even seem to notice you, doesn't make any movement of some kind. It's just still, unnaturally still.
No, it's like, I go towards in the closet.
It will go and ding ding ding. Still nothing.
I go towards the sarcophagus since it's the apparition is on top of the sarcophagus, right? What's under the sarcophagus?
You approach the sarcophagus on the side. Okay, you approach the sarcophagus on the side, and then you take a look. And it goes, but not facing you. It's facing, hello there. Congratulations. Which is an odd visual because you're sneaking up, and then the gnome is just saying, congratulations. If you are seeing this message, then you are no simpleton grave robber. Lord Elkon wanted to ensure the security of this mausoleum, so he enlisted the services of me, the great illusionist, Dylan. I am sorry to say that all of your efforts to pillage this place will be futile. But that doesn't mean that we can't make this interesting. So, and now you know it's an illusion. Snaps his fingers, and then from the bottom of the sarcophagus where the epitaph is, it slowly cascades down to an underground cavern chamber.
Okay.
Off you go, fools! And then the image blinks.
Off you go, fools! Okay.
I think it's a challenge.
It's a challenge. You know what? We're gonna go back up. Go back up towards where the lizards are.
Okay.
No, where's mine?
Just hide.
You hide the lizard, you take a look. They are still on the side. So they're not in front of the bonfire anymore, so they're quite away from it.
Just hide.
And you notice as well all the other lizards are like patrolling, like skittish, still going there. You can still probably see, you can still probably hear, I shall smite all of you, you shall shine, cling, clang, clong, clang. It's still going.
What are you planning to do first?
Simple. I'm gonna lure the lizards and let them go down the stairs. Let them go in first. The gnome did say, after you, fools.
Okay. Yeah, let's hide.
Wait, you know,
Yeah.
tell me what they're down here in Draconic is.
What?
Just tell me what they're down here in Draconic is and then Authormaturgy there.
They're down here.
Right in the statue. Are you gonna do this? Okay.
Before anything else.
And hide in the other room. Right?
No.
We hide in there.
No. Because what I'm gonna do is this. I'm going to cast rope trick
Okay.
at the back of the stage here, so that the whole there's an invisible hole. The thing is, nobody's gonna try to look for us on the second room, but they're just gonna go downstairs.
Right.
So I want them to be lured downstairs.
But you guys are just hanging out on the rope trick upstairs. How is the maximum weight of the rope trick?
It can carry up to 8 people.
Okay. You're gonna do that? So here's you're gonna rope trick, and then just gonna balance. You're gonna pull the rope up and hope to hide there
We go in.
while the entire lizard folk are gonna be cramming into this closed confined space. Okay.
So speak in Draconic. They're down here. They went down deeper.
Okay. You're gonna do that. So you're gonna cast rope trick. Mark off the. Is that a spell slot? One first level.
What?
Is that a spell slot? First level.
That's it. I'm out of spell slots.
Oh crap. All right. So you're doing it. Do you guys agree with this? So you're gonna do thaumaturgy. Okay, which part of the room are you gonna rope trick up? The sarcophagus room or the second room?
The second room, the one that has the statue.
The one that has a statue.
Well, of
Okay.
course, we're gonna close it after.
Yeah.
Okay. Very well. So you're gonna do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. You. Okay. So this is gonna be tricky, right? Because okay, here's what I'll allow to happen. He's gonna have to thaumaturgy and call, right? And then he's gonna run to the second room, close the door, and he's gonna make a climb check and pull it up. So
Are you prepared to do that?
it's gonna require a roll of deception because they've been bamboozled the first time around. They may not be more tenable here. And then you're gonna run, and then you're gonna make an athletics check to climb up quickly, and then everyone makes a health check with advantage because that's really very good.
Is the way down big enough so that the big lizard can fit?
As you can see, the chamber opens up and it's well, even more slanted. And if you take a look inside, it sprawls even. It's pretty large.
So the
They can file in, yeah.
Cut it. Just set that.
Okay, we're doing it.
And then cut it. Right?
Okay.
Two.
Yep.
Can you do it?
I prepare my bardic inspiration.
you can do it.
How many bardic inspiration do you have left?
I 3.
Okay, good. So everyone's gonna file into the secondary ante-room. You are going to go outside and make the draconic. You're gonna coach him, and then someone's gonna close the door, and then go up. Make the deception or performance check. Performance is better for you.
So performance.
No, just performance.
Then
Plus your bardic inspiration.
Nice. Go Riverside.
14.
Okay. So you call in draconic. They're here! You fools! They went downstairs! And then you run, and then you hope to God that they do something. You come in, you close the door, make an athletics check to climb.
Wait, with advantage, right? Because we're helping you.
Yeah, you can do that. Advantage.
With advantage.
Yeah. Roll again. Okay.
Good enough. You climb up, and then you pull out the rope. Everyone make stealth checks now. With advantage.
Advantage.
Yep.
13.
13, 13, 19, 18 as well. Okay. As you call that, you run, you close the door swiftly but slowly so that not to indicate that they went here, and you climb up. You wait for about roughly 30 seconds, and you hear some draconic. You can understand. What? What is this? What is this here? This must be a trap. They went down here. We go. And they go. Check the other room. They burst open the other room. About 3 of them come in. Someone here? Three. Nothing happens here. And then they do this. They're surprised why the thing is open. There's a shield. There's a
Okay.
the relief buff is in there. What is that? And after probably a minute or so, they leave the room. You can still hear chatter, but like excitable chatter. But after probably 2 or 3 minutes, it kind of fades away a little bit. You don't know if it faded away because they went down or they went outside. You don't know.
Now there's gonna be lizard folk inside there.
How long do you wait? And what do you do now? How long does rope tricks last?
1 hour.
Okay, good.
Can we do a short rest right then?
Yeah, we can.
Routine recovery.
Yeah, I get spells. My 2 slots were taken up the first couple minutes of the game.
Wait, 1 second. As you guys are resting, probably around 10 or 20 minutes in, you hear a commotion coming from presumably under. Sorcery! They run up. And then there's violence or commotion, like crashing of things, and then it calms down again. And then they go out, and then nothing happens, and you continue your short rest.
Okay, so they were not able to find any traps downstairs. They were not able to find any traps downstairs.
We probably triggered something. We probably triggered something
Ah, good.
inside.
Oh, good. Then we know it's trapped downstairs.
Yes. But we still need to proceed downstairs.
At least that's one less trap.
Okay.
I can recover it.
Recovery. So it's a precarious 1 hour on top of a rope, but you're still able to rest properly. And before the rope trick would expire, before you will fall down, you slow or quickly descend. The door is still slightly ajar. You take a look outside. There are now nothing. There's nothing there, but the door remains open.
So we proceed to go down. Yeah.
Okay. But slowly, right? Make a perception check first.
English first.
28.
Okay. As you enter from outside the anteroom, nobody there. You take a look at the outside. They're back in the bonfire a little bit. Still sort of freaked out, but there's now attention coming in. Whereas before the lizard man is just looking outside, right? There's now also people like peering inside as well, but not really directly. But they seem apprehensive, like they might be afraid of what's gonna come out from here. So they're not precisely watching you guys from the inside, but they are wary of whatever it is that caused the commotion from the inside as well. So they have now been triply spooked between outside, inside, and the yelling black armored guy. You take a look at the downside, just to make sure. Make another perception check to see if they posted people there. Okay. Nobody seems to be in here. Nobody seems to be downstairs.
Let's go downstairs.
They go downstairs. Okay. So you guys slowly go downstairs. Nothing's happening there. It's not marble anymore. It's like cavern. Like muck, still muck all over the place, right? You see the same lights of the gnomish maze. So it's illuminated a little bit. The cause of the commotion is not apparent here. It's like people are freaking out. There are like more statue reliefs in that. They're like in a disarray. They're being pulled aside. It's just people. It seems like the lizard men are freaking out here. And then as you move forward,
Yeah, might as well.
make a perception check.
Wait, down here is no longer a swamp, right?
Yeah, but it's no longer marble, but it's no longer swamp. It's still muddy, but not really watery.
Okay then.
It's like a relatively dry, clay-ish sort of thing.
Then by that, I'm still in favor of the rain. Okay. 26. 26.
Okay, 26. Probably 50 feet across and going through, scattered, probably the same statues and freaking out in a disarray. At the end of the room, you see it's cavernous, right? And then it cuts off, and it's now not really marble, but stone of some sort of construction, like a tunnel, stone tunnel, instead of just. And on the left side, there's a door. On the right side, there's a door. In the front side, there is a reflective substance, not similar to the other room, but it's just Person size.
Person size.
Yep.
Door? Door?
The right door.
Right door?
Yeah.
Right door? Right door.
It's the right door.
It is locked.
Can it be? Does it have a keyhole?
It does not have a keyhole.
Any mechanism that suggests that it can be opened with something.
There is no keyhole at all. And there doesn't seem to be not even a doorknob. It's just an iron door of the same make without the keyhole, without the doorknob.
Ah, okay.
1, 2, 3, go!
Kick it. Make a strength.
7.
Nope. And you also notice that there's some sort of force reverberation that is locked by magic of some kind.
Oh.
Oh, it's medical. Wait. The one who made this was an illusionist. It's based on deception. So there must be something here that can deactivate the illusion.
I'm gonna try this. Just push through.
It is most assuredly a door, and you cannot open it.
Can I pull the door?
Huh?
Can I pull the door?
There's nothing to pull, and it doesn't give way at all.
I will unbelieve the door. There is no door. There is no door.
Reality says there's a door. You're in the right door, right? You went to the right door.
We go to the left then.
You go to the left, same thing.
So go straight.
Okay, here's what happens when you go straight. There is no door. It is just the polished material. Instead of the whole wall, it is just polished material. You stand in front of it, and out materializes a little gnome girl. Okay? In your worst Korean horror movie nightmares, creepy girl, pigtails, trying to get your attention. The same thing as a programmed image. Hi guys. What's the password? Yeah, it's the password. She's saying in this statement.
Oh, she speaks common?
Yep.
She speaks common.
Okay. I don't know what that's for.
Can you give us a clue?
Oh, I'm sorry. A clue. Here you go. And he pushes something. As he's pushing to the mirror, under, well, not the mirror, there's a secret compartment that opens up in front of you. And then, under the compartment, you're able to see a note. What does it say? It says... Hold up, I don't want to screw this up.
Oh no.
This is the note.
Straight from west.
Oh, okay. Save from west
What's the password? Safe from the west. Go here. Are you sure that's what it says? Are you sure that's what it says? Alright. There you go. And then the right door opens up.
That door opens. That door I may be overthinking this, but I can
No, I can't think clearly because
Right, there's also another way. Since it was written like this and it's backwards, so if you should say it from the west, that means that the west is actually not safe and the safe one is east. Because it's backwards.
if you're going from the west, same
But she's asking for a password though.
east.
The door's open.
Let's just check out the room first.
Okay? You go inside. Everyone goes inside. Okay. It's the same room. Similar build. No sarcophagus in the middle. No statue in the middle. Same 4 lights. As you enter, everyone make a dexterity save.
A what?
A dexterity save. Okay. As you step inside, the door doesn't even close. As you probably at the center where you expect it to be, the floor gives way into a pitfall trap under spikes, and then you take 8 for 8 damage piercing. 8 piercing damage. Half if you save.
Half if you save.
Yep.
I was 19, so 19 good.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I'm a 21.
So it's
Yep. Very good. Half damage.
so the more damage.
And then that's it. You know this this way. There's still an incline that they can get out of the room. There's still an incline where you can get off of the room.
You get out of the room.
Get out of the room.
We go back to the door. We go back to the door.
Okay.
That wasn't the safe one, Nancy. Wasn't it?
It wasn't?
That wasn't the safe one, was it?
I don't know. It
Can
just
you open the east door?
open the east door. The other one then? So it was the wrong one?
Yes.
Alright. And the left, it opens up.
We're just gonna check inside what's inside.
As you open the room, the same room, the same make 1, 2, 3, 4. In the center is a small box.
Who's gonna get it?
No, just mage hand it. Yeah. Mage hand, bring the box. Is it small?
Is it worth £5?
So you mage hand the box
Yeah.
and it's lodged to the pedestal.
Open the box with the mage hand.
Yeah. Can the mage hand open the box?
Mage hand open the box.
Mage hand reach in to the box.
You mage hand reach in. You get. You get. This. No.
Always come from Take Me Now.
You got the note? Nothing. You brace yourself for something bad to happen. Nothing happens. It's alright.
Always coming from west. Always safe coming from west. Always safe coming from west. Take me here down. No, that doesn't work. Always safe going from coming from the west. That makes sense. Take me here, go down. Go attack. Go attack. We'll take you. Which way is north?
You asked the girl? Oh yeah, I mean, the ranger should have like true north, right?
Ranger, you know which way is north, right? I'm turned around here.
Yeah, it's this. Where is the north?
Well, for the orientation, the wall with the mirror is north.
The mirror is north.
As far as you can see, relatively speaking, west was the west door. I mean, west was the west door, east was the east door. So you would assume that north is the other way. You got that part right.
Always coming.
So it was north, going straight, east and west.
It's a mirror, right?
It's just a shiny reflective surface similar to the one, but not really a mirror.
Can I like put my hand through it?
Okay. It's just a reflective surface. And then the girl asks, so did you guys find what you need? Did you guys get it?
Go
I only have these two notes.
investigate the west room.
Investigate the west room. Okay, make an investigation check.
1.
It is a room with a pedestal.
24. 22.
You examine the extreme craftsmanship of this room compared to the other rooms, and it's like perfect, mass-produced, the same layout, the same everything. But otherwise, it's just the same room, a pedestal instead. You talk to the girl. You guess these two notes, and the girl goes, "I'm sorry, I can't read. I just do what you told me."
Can you take us down?
No.
This is down.
This is down.
There is no other down.
So you were asking for a password.
Yeah? You have another one?
I'll try to do it this way. Always coming from that.
What? What's the password?
Huh?
What's the password?
Can I bring the hair?
You can make a strength check.
Is the password sunset?
Sunset? No, there's more. There's a lot of passwords. It's longer than that. As you do the punch check, you will notice that the same arcane effect is also affecting the reflective surface as he tries to punch it. So it's reinforced magically because we're in D&D. So what you say, is the password sent? Oh, there's more. I'm sure there's more. Probably like the same as the first one, like a sentence or something. Sunrise? More. Still more.
Go take me down here. Go take me down here.
talks to you. It says, "Are you sure that's the password?" Alright then. Suddenly, the girl form. The girl form shimmers a little bit. Okay? He shimmers a little bit and he transforms into a neatly misshapen green troll.
A green what?
A green, small, like a troll if it's like a small troll. It goes, "That's not the password!" And then make wisdom saves. Everyone make wisdom saves.
Oh no. 10.
Okay, that's 7.
Wisdom check.
DC 15.
16.
Okay, DC 15. Everyone takes 7 damage, half if you save from the 15, as the now trollish form of the girl suddenly brings out a very mind-inducing, damaging sound, like an eerie, very annoying sound as well. And it morphs back to the gnome. It morphs back to the gnome. Ha! You grave robbers. Really? There's nothing here you can do. You guys are no fun. Here, take this. And then he pushes it again from the mirror. He gives you a crest, which is similar, but it's more, there's brighter colors. This is the key. You guys are so boring. Don't know anything. And here, take this. You'll need it too. It's like a pendant on a stone, and he gives it to you. Now be gone. You guys are boring. You'll have no chance. I'll just hand it to you. You have no chance down there when I'm getting serious. Now leave. And then it dissipates.
So,
It's gone.
you see, don't come in here. You don't have what it takes.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It says, "You could even solve this. Here, just use this. I don't think you'll be able to survive the next one." And then he gives you another stone pendant. "You're gonna need this." And then it says, "Be gone." And it disappears out.
And where do we go?
The crest that you find is similar to the relief shield, but it has more details, and you would notice that there's a magical effect. It's the same as when you attach the shield.
So we go back up. We go back up? Yeah, we go back up.
Okay, so go back up. Take a look as well.
Take a look.
Yeah.
I can't think straight right now.
You're gonna go back upstairs. Yeah.
Yeah, let's see if somebody tried to go.
You take a peek, Yapon. Of the corner eye, there's still sentries going in, but they're still basically giving wide space from actually entering in. So whatever happened to you guys probably also happened to those guys as well, and they have nothing to do with this as well. So you take a look at the anteroom to the west. You take the chips, and then you depress it. So the other shield, you press it, and you depress it even further, and it clicks in. And what happens is, as you make an arcana check, 17. You just barely attach it and get out of the way as the shield suddenly shines a little bit, and a beam of light blasts through to the reflective surface. And where the reflecting surface is, there is now a shimmering portal that you can get into. And that's it. Okay. It's silent, so that it doesn't attract the lizardmen outside. It's just like, and then that's it. You close the door though, because there's really a shimmering thing. You probably don't want the lizardmen to see it and follow you. And then you go inside.
So, question. Do you guys want to continue, or next time we might
Want to stop here?
Yeah, right. I can't hear it.
I can't
I'll tell you what the joke is. It's the puzzle is really lame. It's supposed to be this, right? I just written. She can't read, so she needs to say it. You need to say it to her, right? You need to say it to her because she can't read. So if this is from the mirror side, it's gonna look like this, but she won't understand it. So you're gonna assume, okay, this is a mirror. It's safe from west, go here. But because it's a mirror, the meaning is also reversed. Danger to the east. Stop there.
Alright, so technically speaking, never move to never get you up.
Never going to give
You up.
never gonna give you up.
And that's what the psychic damage. I was supposed to play the psychic damage, but obviously we can't. Alright. So that's it. At the end of the day, you're gonna go plump, down, lower. You don't know what's gonna happen outside because they might still be fighting, but you have now opened a gateway.
The fact that we're not yet in front of them going down.
Yeah.
Long rest.
That's up to you.
We could do it.
We'll let you decide what happens next. Guys, I'll probably do a catch-up session with the rest so that we can get you guys together.
You guys are fighting within
Yeah. Okay. No, I was gonna play it. I prepped it already here. The Rick Astley style. I'm just gonna play it. I just couldn't because I can't hear anything. I'm gonna give you 200 more XP each. That's pretty good. You actually survived without fighting anything.
You avoided combat.
You avoided combat. Sorry. And we'll stop for now, I guess.